I got a fire in my belly that I gotta let out. Welcome to the continuation of the Egg-Gnosis series, part 15, Cowgirls and Indians. At the time of this recording, it is Sunday, September 24th, 2023, on planet Earth number 1, also known as God's creation. Our art at Cavetronics Dimensional Art combines over-unity principles and math with art to provide a glimpse into the making of beauty. As you can see from the left side image, this is the original samples given as a set of 4 by the Midjourney AI art program, which gives the user some sampling of designs to choose from, of which you can upscale any of the 4 images. In this set, the bottom right image was also used in Egg-Gnosis Part 3, Sex, War, and Florn, in reference to the Ark of the Covenant, which may be of some interest to all you raiders of the Lost Ark out there grifting my mind stream. Today's presentation will assert my authority and rights over my own work and to be retroactive for all the stolen work you have been now found to be guilty of criminal fraud in the highest court, which is not man-made. By linking this image of the original set of 4, now also links my initial video together so that you can know me from the many doppelganger clones out there on planet Earth number whatever. Or are we still on the same planet and share the same resources? Or is my audience some space cadets sent to torture the people of Earth like myself and my husband? The agenda for today is to kick your ass off of this cowgirl. I cannot change the chromosome type I was born with. I cannot transition to XY chromosome type to become male. I do not even have a Y chromosome to add to make me male. However, I was born with eggs because I'm female. These are some simple and pervasive truths that are fundamentals on planet Earth in human form, with an all-organic, God-designed body, and free from gene manipulation and the Lucifer race found in the CRISPR technology that I learned about in the newly added environmental science class at Columbia College, of which course I was taking when the fake pandemic became a public psyops and murder. So today I'm going to discuss some of the psyops because I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take this anymore. To be clear, when I mentioned the cross, I meant the cross, not crossroads. Some of us have been hanging on for far too long. And since we obviously are not dead yet after all this time, it would be nice if someone would take us down off this cross. We need to bring the bones of the ancestors back to the home place, if you get my drift. Plus, some of us have a wedding to attend. Others will get to spend some time in hell, and I don't care what they want to call it while they're there. They can call it crossroads and spread around hopium among themselves about one day getting out or getting a lot of gold heaped on their heads to such a severe degree that it kills them and becomes their burial ground. At least that is one possible outcome of this nightmare. The other possible outcome will require a rescue of myself and my husband before we're dead. which could happen soon because he's now down to 137 pounds, having lost over 50 pounds in the past year due to lack of money to buy food or much of anything else. I currently have no phone in this home. We cannot afford phone, electric, food, or anything, actually. I haven't paid insurance in months. Just everything is going down. And it won't be long before I'm literally laying in the middle of the street wishing someone would run over me. So in this script, what you should understand, as I think you are now realizing, you are bound in my web. And I will not comply any longer to your crapola. And I highly recommend that people follow my example or else find themselves in the same situation as I have for the last 50 years. And if you combine my husband's age, that's a total of 107 years in this lifetime alone. So you can see the demons have no conscience, nor can you reason with them, nor can you trust them in treaties or agreements or rules. They break their own rules and their own treaties. Just ask the Native Americans. But they are about to pay for it exponentially, no matter what happens to the good humans of planet Earth. On Friday, September 22nd, 2023, on the Alex Jones Show, guest speaker Jay Dyer delivered some very important information to the public about how art has been degenerated intentionally as psyops to destroy society at the heart, in direct opposition to the witches of this earth that work behind the scenes in governments, courts, agencies, education systems, and other networks. Capetronics dimensional art interjects true beauty into the collective consciousness in order to break the mind spells from the evildoers of this earth and of space. Let it be known that God's network is bigger than you space witches or wherever you hide. You wanted a witch hunt, you got one. And to the warriors in this audience for some insight, I believe the magical spells that must break used voodoo. I monitor some of the PSYOPs reps talking on the alternative media, and in the past couple of months I have listened as the narratives have shifted with the timing of videos released on WhoHub's YouTube channel. I have engaged in direct opposition to some of the narratives that insist on burying my husband and I in a sea of lies, much like how Bill Gates wanted to spend money to chop down trees and then spend more money to bury those trees. Some of the insane notions pushed through different PSYOPs voices claim that my husband and I are alien, artificial intelligence machines, voting machines, FBI agents, and the newest claim is that we are bugs. Yes, bugs. Insects in the 3D reality program, according to at least three different PSYOPs voices, namely Wano Saban, Cliff High, and Kim Gogan. And I would like to shoot this sharp arrow message directly into the foreheads of everyone saying that. I would like for you to take your awkward message to my mother-in-law, who is the daughter of a Cherokee princess, Chief John Herring. I want each of you to tell her that you think I'm a bug and that her son is a bug, because I want to see how long you last in her presence with your BS. To Beau of the fifth column, whom I would happily consider my chief of staff if I were President of the United States of America, I would like to address three key words you mentioned, namely brave, asteroid, and plasma. My husband's Indian name, Little Running Bear, was given to him by his Cherokee grandmother. He was named after the famous Sioux chief Running Bear, who, as a young brave, was one of thousands of Native Americans on the Trail of Tears. Their captors raped the women and beat them all. They were cruel beyond measure. The natives endured hardships that many of you cannot fathom. As the natives walked from the mountains of Tennessee and North Carolina through this area of the Ozarks, the trauma was too great for Running Bear. He could not watch the horror of his people suffer under the torture any longer. In one day, his anger peaked fever pitch, and he killed the entire regiment of the army that held them captive all by himself. The brave Running Bear ran through 14 miles of caravans and trails to kill every last captor to save his people, who were able to escape into these hills, and now their generations continue to live on to this day. About the asteroid coming in the near future or far future, my husband, scientist, engineer, and inventor Brian D. Prater, has long since devised a solution to that problem, which involves hitting the object on its four corners simultaneously just enough to push it out of orbit rather than explode it and risk a debris fall to Earth. Therefore, I'm happy to hear they are obtaining samples of the asteroid because it would be good to know its composition for that particular task. Lastly, concerning plasma, I do have a story to tell. Over a decade ago, before my husband's massive stroke, some friends were sitting on the back porch looking up at the night sky. I did not see the mothership, but rather the effects of it leaving Earth, which appeared in the form of glimmering, colorful plasma, which from my estimations of distance and size had to be roughly the area the size of Texas before it collapsed in on itself and disappeared. In a world of overpopulation where people don't even have enough jobs, I see no reason for bots, do you? Politically, I am seriously considering establishing myself as the official left, and then everything else, whatever that is, which is left of me, such as the bots, I would recommend to be cut off or, if necessary, killed for the safety of the good humans of Earth. However, I am open to suggestions. Don't lose your heads, good people. I colluded with Russia and China in order to get help, because at that time, which was earlier this year in 2023, I could not trust not one single person in the entirety of the American government or its agencies who would also have enough power to stop the insanity that is causing so much suffering for us real humans on Earth. So for the record, I psychically contacted Putin and Xi Jinping as an SOS. Save our souls. However, for the record, in chronological order, any fake news about the collusion with Russia came many years before my psychic meeting pleading for help. So this is just another proof that the demonic grifters have been grifting me through the looking glass for far too long. To Senator Whitehouse, who looks suspiciously like the banker Jamie Dimon, When you use the term chosen ones, I do assume you're talking about us, the survivors of your insanity. We are the true winners of your so-called game, and the inheritors of this earth and everything it offers. So to be clear, to fight against the lawfare against our bodies, our thoughts, our labor, and our souls, especially against outside magical or space inhabiting entities not of this earth, we humans of this earth are not AI, alien, bugs, cars, or a part of any demonic or man-made tax code, no matter what your arguments are otherwise. We are not slaves. We are not your property. You do not own us, but as the government, you are our, or let me be specific, you, the government entities, are my servants, the servants of the American people. I am not your servant, and I do not belong to you. Yet my message to you does not end there. Let me tell you something else. You will not put bots on this earth to replace humans and then demonetize all humans, leaving us to fend for ourselves against your bot invasion. And by the way, as you can see from the bottom left screenshot that I just added, I caught you drifting my presentation again in real time. So tell me, Banker Jamie Dimon, or whatever name you're using today, as you're cruising in space trying to enslave people in faraway galaxies. Tell me, what's a soul worth? How do you determine a soul's worth? And what about the Lucas, Lucius, Lucas, or Lucifer Fund? Isn't that really meant for the people? Who was the owner of that fund, and where did the $608 trillion go after I, not some AI, but I, filled with the Holy Spirit, not bugs, destroyed your God does not exist gambling bets? Got an answer for that? What you were looking at here is information about my ancestor from the line of Martin Luther. Yes, Luther. Does that ring a bell? It should. To all you evildoers, you see, real fairy tears are terribly expensive. It will cost you your soul. No need for a contract. You already made that behind our backs and signed it with your blood and greed in secret, unholy, magical courts and otherwise. I'm not sure if you ran out of ordinary people who don't have an understanding of their lineage, or if it's just my time to be called up to become a star. But what you fail to realize is my mother's lineage. From the fairies, my ancestors continued to live on this earth and later rose to become the legends you know as King Arthur, Sir Lancelot, and at least one or two more of the Knights of the Round Table that I can rightfully claim as my kin, which are traceable through the Earl of Lonsdale and the Lawfare family. So I ask again, how much is a soul worth, and does it cost more if it is bound as a collected up soul group? To touch on something I've heard a certain person say on alternative media who will remain nameless for security of information flow, people tend to think that focus is the key to certain practices. However, from my experiences, it's about real work, which you can collect up over time to deliver or hurl towards the enemy when the time is right. It's kind of like burnt offerings to the Lord at this point. I believe that the enemy will not be able to obtain much value from it other than their own demise. It's kind of like a poisoned apple at this point. But hey, that's what happens when you roam the forest looking for a witch to rape. So I added some extra soapy Easter bubble eggs to wash off the scum. To continue feedback on topics from my favorite commentator on truth and art, I too believe the timing is suspicious of the recent attempts to grab guns. I wonder which guns they want to remove. It seems they want to remove all guns, which is why they insist on telling kids to cut theirs off, and then make a way for children to do so behind their parents' back in secret, unholy, magical practices where the meat is trimmed like a chef and then probably fed to some unholy priest in the next room over. Let it be known, from what I have observed, you must defend yourself in hell, from hell, or have someone do it for you, because the demons that control America and want to control the entire earth will not stop trying to destroy you with your every thought, emotion, and word. My name may be inscribed with mercy, but I am not the one to give it. So for those of you sick demons who salivate at the thought of drinking my blood and eating my flesh as if it could deliver some salvation to you, then you should know by now that those doors are closed permanently for all time. To continue with feedback to my favorite commentator, I agree we must assert the proper dividing lines between good and evil. At this point we have no choice as we are in the darkest of days, where everything outside of ourselves is corrupted in a demonic construct. Only the incorruptible is true and worthwhile. I'm sure you agree, and I am eager for ascension also. This is part of why we at Capetronics R&D Energy developed a religion of sorts that can provide a foundation for many, while we stand in opposition to severe evil from all sides. So don't lose your heads over what's coming, good people of Earth. To the PSYOPs team performing a paper ballots campaign, let me remind everyone of the first unelected U.S. president who was installed like a computer programmed bot by the Supreme Court. And just as a reminder to that PSYOPs operator, I included a set of Over Unity church swing art because I do not play games, especially with demons. And as a message to my favorite commentator, I realized it is crazy that people would gather together and bark like dogs and howl on all fours. And you could think of 100 ways to make fun of that and have a fun fight, but I want to let you know from 50 years experience that demons just roll with it and make it worse. The demons want to make you zigzag, but remember that the path to God is straight and narrow like an arrow. If your ways are crooked, the demons take advantage of it and drag you down because of it. We cannot fight demons by their rules because they have none. Like Helen's many suitors, the illegals are crossing the border in droves by the thousands every day. Each of them makes more money by simply crossing the border than both my husband and I combined, who are disabled veterans of the United States Navy and Air Force, among other secret facilities. We don't even get compensation from our service. We have never received a penny in compensation from any of the fraudulent, underhanded, backdoor, unholy, magical rulings against us and our hard labor. From what I can glean from the chatter in the crosstalk, our hard labor has been falsely claimed as spending for the FBI, or the new term the demons are using now is Homeland Intelligence Experts Group. You people are not hiding from God. I surely hope you are starting to see that more clearly. I thank you for allowing me to get all of this off my chest. I actually feel a lot better now that I have done that. I'm sure my husband will appreciate you allowing me to express my First Amendment right because he has listened to me screaming for weeks. So thank you from my husband also, who may now get a moment of peace. And by allowing me to freely use my First Amendment, you may also have saved a life. Even if it is just mine, for another moment added that I didn't die of a heart attack from stress caused by the trauma and never-ending anxiety from all your torturous, inhumane, cruel, and I'm sure highly illegal somewhere psyops machines. In closing, I would like to suggest a new trend for the new day. I would also like to offer up a request for release for 2 more hostages of hell. In addition to my husband, who desperately needs immediate medical attention, please. To continue, I would like to join voices with Russell Brand and Owen Schroyer and stand with them on the foundation of our U.S. Constitution and our First Amendment Bill of Rights, which describes our Creator-given right to free speech, free assembly, and freedom of religion. May God bless you both and pray that your work can continue for the benefit of humankind and to do something truly renewing in my personal life. I would like to offer a sincere apology to a man that I wronged for no real good reason, except for my inability to speak up for myself. And instead of speaking my truth and standing up for my space, I heard a man named Michael and allowed the system to take care of my dirty work for me. I ask that this become a trend among women and men, that we may forgive and offer mercy to those we know in our own hearts deserve it for actions we may have made that hurt them in some way. May this become a new and forever trend until we have cleansed our mother planet of which God created for us. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.